good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, how are you this morning?
I'm good, Eric. How about you? What's going on this Friday morning?
Not a lot. Just got a show, then got the weekend, and we're gonna have a game to be able to dissect preseason football.
Ooh,
yes, very exciting.
Yeah,
very excited. I mean, do you like watching preseason?
I'm trying to think of what I might learn about it's not my favorite thing to do. I mean, obviously, you lock in a little bit more on the fact that it's the Broncos. But we've already talked about the fact that there aren't that many jobs that are open. Now, I will say this. There are jobs to be decided along the defensive front where they have a lot of depth and they've got quality depth. So there's an area, if you really want to zero in on something tomorrow night, pay attention to what's going on in the defensive front, who's playing with whom, reps, those types of things, because that may be a room where some familiar names are heard on cut down day, but that remains to be seen.
All right, I want to tell you about Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos. They always have great promotions. This time, they're going to be giving away a new Sea-Doo four-wheeler or the cash award from the big wheel spin, plus $7,500 in cash. Grand prize drawings are next weekend, starting on Friday. Okay, so with that, get finals entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. until midnight during their daily cash drawings with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. I was just up there, won a locked-up jackpot, walked away with $300. I've told you for a long time they have really loose slots. They can't say it. I can. It's just a fact. Seems like when I go there, it's not like I'm great at pressing buttons. I can promise you that. It's not like I have some system down and I know how to win. I know how to win on a slot machine. It just pays out. Not every time, but a lot of the times. And it's just a great place to go. Yeah. Great food and drinks. It's a family-owned atmosphere, a family-owned casino. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk, a family-owned casino that treats you like family. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
The Broncos practiced yesterday. The preseason opener is tomorrow. I think it is fair to say, Bruce, that the Broncos in the first team session dominated on both sides of the ball. Brock Purdy was seeing all kinds of Broncos defensive players, and when he threw the ball into the secondary, Broncos players were more than happy to pick off passes or knock them down. Offensively, in the first team period, the Broncos offense was humming along as well. So with that, before we really dig deep into practice, 49ers starters really aren't expected to play tomorrow in the preseason opener. So was yesterday's practice far more valuable than what we will see tomorrow?
Yeah, I guess depending on who you are and what you're trying to do in terms of winning a job, like you and I have talked, there aren't many jobs available on this football team. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan said it as much. He's not going to play his starters at all tomorrow. So they were focusing in on the shared practice. So it was two teams meeting with things that they wanted to get done. And I think both teams probably walk away feeling pretty good to okay about what they had. They worked for a long time. It was a long practice. They got after it. So I think there's a lot of tape. That's what Peyton loves to say. He's got a lot of tape to look at, and spent probably most of yesterday afternoon and last night looking over it. But yeah, I mean, I do think it was probably where you're going to take your biggest takeaways was the stuff that happened yesterday.
Bo Nix wasn't perfect, but I think it's fair to say he was balling. The wide receiver room, I think everybody made a special play. Cortland, Vele, Mims, Franklin was outstanding again, this time against new competition. You can see how he has grown. Bryant reportedly made an unbelievable catch. But I want to get into, does it really mean that much to you that all these guys look good, specifically early on, when it's only one practice. So is it a big deal or just another practice?
Well, it can be a big deal if you allow it to be a big deal. And by that, I mean teams that play well in these shared practices always get a little extra wind in their sails, even if it's 3-4 weeks before the opener, just because it's the first bit of competitive juice that flows. Not necessarily with the Broncos. They had a very competitive practice a week ago last Wednesday, but they played someone else. So you get to work in against people doing different fronts, different looks. Everything is different, and you're making adjustments on the fly. So it is a different exercise for you than any of the 12 practices that you'd had previously amongst each other. So yeah, from that standpoint, I think there's some value. It's silly to make too much of it, but if you perform well and you walk away, I think with what the Broncos walked away with, progress in the running game with what they're trying to do in the running game, Bo Nix having by virtually every measure his best work of the summer, the defense really dominating through the first half of work, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and on the back end, taking the ball away. Those are all nice things you would rather be able to say that than you did, well, Bo Nix had kind of an uneven day, and God, they weren't able to run the ball very well. And Brock Purdy was able to move that offense, which in the back half of practice, he did do a little bit better. But no, I think all in all, I take Sean Payton at his word. He felt good about what he saw yesterday.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a deal is it? I'd call it a 7.
Okay.
And this is why I would rank it this high. When the Broncos offense has been practicing against the Broncos defense, each side knows what to expect.
Yeah, of course.
At this point, they know what the other side is doing. So when one side has a really good day at training camp here in Denver, when it's the Broncos against the Broncos, I don't think you put a lot of stock into it a week and a half into practice.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a brand new team and you don't know what they're going to do and they don't know what you're going to do, and you carve them up specifically early and probably 50% of the way through practice.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, if you had to take a guess, tell me if you know the answer to this. What do you think the over-under is for the 49ers for wins this year?
It was high, 10 and a half, something
10
like
and
that.
a half.
Yeah,
now,
10
a lot
and
of
a half.
people,
Yeah.
a lot of people are betting the under. Right now, the 49ers are missing their top 2 wide receivers.
Yep.
But let's not cry for them, because the Broncos defense, which was terrific for the majority of practice, they were down to their 4th and 5th string inside linebackers.
Yeah.
And Brandon Jones didn't play either.
Right.
Injuries are part of the game, although it's interesting to look at the 49ers injury situation compared to the Broncos injury situation. And apparently the Broncos are doing something right with Bo Lowry, and maybe Kyle and John Lynch want to hire Bo Lowry away. Although I don't think that Sean is going to allow that.
Probably not.
No. So I think that it is impressive to a large extent, because they're going up against a team. Listen, if this was against Carolina yesterday, different.
Right.
The 49ers have the 6th best odds to win the Super Bowl this year. Do I think they will? No. I don't think they have the horses. I think losing Deebo Samuel is going to be a challenge for them, although Christian McCaffrey is healthy. But by all accounts, most Vegas people would say the 49ers will be a better team than the Broncos this year, and the Broncos handled them.
Yes, I would say that's I have no pushback against that take whatsoever. I think it's right on a lot of levels, and I'll be surprised if and for many reasons, I think that Sean Payton will play with emphasis tomorrow, and I think that they will handle this well tomorrow in the exhibition.
Generally speaking, in training camp, you have your training camp darling. A guy who you probably didn't know his name before the start of camp, was probably an undrafted free agent rookie, or he's a 7th-round pick or a 6th-round pick. My vote for training camp darling. Do you got to vote for training camp darling?
I don't think there is one.
I do think there is one, but not technically.
All right.
He's not technically training camp darling because he's already been with this team already a year. But when you look at what he went through last year, and I'm surprised that he isn't deaf in one ear at this point because he got yelled at so much last year, is Franklin, who has not only shown up, this guy has thrived compared to last year. And he was reportedly very good against the 49ers in practice yesterday, which leads me to say to you, if he's the 4th best wide receiver on this roster, or if he is listed as number 4 on the depth chart, what does this wide receiver room look like, especially with Pat Bryant, who has flashed as well?
It's a pretty good room, isn't it? All of it. It's a sneaky good room. I mean, it nationally will not move a lot of needles. And I understand why. It's fine, and who cares anyway, right? It doesn't make any difference. But from a standpoint of how they're producing, and I thought yesterday, the receiving room and the running back room really made some nice progress. It's, you know how it is. You can have confidence, but when you're playing against other people and you're seeing things work, if you're Troy Franklin and all of a sudden now the work that you've put in is creating space between you and defenders, and you are able to make plays, that's where confidence is really born and built. So I think that yesterday was very important in that regard, just as much as it was the offensive line doing what they need to do in that outside zone blocking scheme, running backs getting to the edges, doing some things in the running game that heretofore in the last 2 years, they really haven't been able to do very effectively. Mike McGlinchey called it a good start. I'll take him at his word. That's where they're at. They've got some work still to do, but they've got the pieces, Eric. And you and I see this every single day. There's not a day that goes by that we see someone in the running back room, usually Dobbins or Harvey, do something. McLaughlin has done it as well. Do something that makes us go, okay, that's interesting. That's different. So, you're right.
Last year, the Broncos had 2 guys catch 500 yards or more in passes. I will be blown away if they don't at least have 4, maybe 5. Now, it seems like, wow, that's a big number. You know what that number really is? 29 yards a game. If you can average 29 yards a game as a pass catcher on the Broncos, you're a 500-yard receiver over a full regular season. Ingram, absolutely. Sutton, absolutely. Mims, absolutely. Vele, more than likely. And maybe Franklin.
And there's going to be there's going to be a running back that threatens 500 too.
Right.
So, but that's it. That's interesting. If you can spread the wealth, like that, and everybody has more than can sit at the table and be fed the way they need to be. And if you produce that, then all of a sudden you've got something, because a lot of things have to be accounted for. I think Cortland Sutton and Evan Engram are the 2 guys that probably are going to get the most run. That would make the most sense to me. I'm telling you, and we talked about this earlier this week, and I'm not unveiling something or other that other people haven't thought. Troy Franklin is a problem. I think Troy Franklin has shown me enough to say, I really want to see where this guy's going, because he doesn't drop balls, Eric. I mean,
you just gave it to Kinahora. For a guy who is a ball dropper, you just said that about him?
He doesn't. I'll tell you one thing.
Used to be a ball dropper. But you know what? I'll say one thing. I am not making a comparison here. Trust me, when it comes out of my mouth, you're going to know I'm not making a comparison.
Right.
But I want to put something into perspective. Jerry Rice was a ball dropping machine in his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Tons.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd probably drop half of the passes on the jugs machine if it was half speed during his rookie season. That's how many times he dropped passes. Right. Turned out to be okay. I'm certainly not comparing the two.
Right. I get you. Well, but it's the rest of all of these guys come in with a general ability to catch balls at this level. They wouldn't be here and certainly wouldn't be drafted if they didn't. But the improvement that Troy Franklin has made, you can make the argument that, I mean, Bo Nix has made that kind of jump, maybe. But Troy Franklin has made a quantum leap. And I'm not calling my shot out of left field. I'm just saying this is a guy that I think will be far more involved than really maybe most of us thought even 3 weeks ago.
I'll tell you why I think he's going to drop fewer passes. Because I think he was struggling to grasp the offense, that he was thinking too much. Yeah. Now, in theory, he can just go out and play. He still has a lot more to learn. But when you are thinking about, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, then the ball's in the air, I got to do this. And as you're thinking, I got to do this, when the ball's in the air, that's when you lose your concentration and drop the ball. Right?
Fair enough.
Now he could just go play football.
Right.
Now he could just go play football, and good for him to be in that position. Who catches more passes this year, Mims or Franklin?
I'm going to go Franklin.
Really?
I think they like his size. I think they like his separation. I think that he is a disciplined route runner. That has never really been an issue. Sometimes the right routes have been an issue, but running the routes has not been an issue. And can I help you out here? Not that you need the help. To me, Mims is going to be used like a Swiss Army knife. Yes.
A mini Joker. A mini me with a painted face.
Nicely done. You never miss your chance. That'll boy.
No, I don't. With that, I think the guy who's going to make the most catches is who they believe runs the best route tree. Who gives them the most versatility, not behind the line of scrimmage with a jet sweep, but who gives them the most versatility with how well they know the route tree after the ball is snapped and the wide receivers ahead of the ball. That's who's going to make the most catches.
That's a pretty good conclusion. You got to know your route trees, and you got to be in the place where
you got to be able to run those route trees
and
too.
You got to be able to
knowing them and doing them are two different things.
Yes, and you got to be where Bo Nix expects you to be. That's at the end of the day, that is your responsibility. Run your routes, run them the way that you need, but you better be where 10 wants you to be.
Right.
Period.
One more thing. So last week, Bo Nix was in a stretch of throwing 5 picks over the course of 3 days during team periods. And Sean Payton, wanting to defend his guy, being probably a little bit terse to the media, because a media member asked about interceptions, he snarkily said, "We're not charting hurricanes here. It's going to be fine." And what he meant was, you guys chart interceptions. We don't chart interceptions.
Right.
It is training camp. So Broncos defense put a lot of pressure on Purdy. A lot of pass breakups, 2 from Riley Moss.
Yeah.
A couple of interceptions from the Broncos secondary on Brock Purdy. Should we be charting hurricanes for the Broncos defense and how they played against Purdy? Or is it a little bit bigger of a deal?
I think it's a slightly – I don't think it's a huge deal, but it is playing against different sets. It's against, you don't know what's coming.
Right.
You're making adjustments on the fly. Look, when the Broncos face each other, you know what period you're in. You're in a run period. Okay? So the defense may not know where the run is coming, but they know that it's a heavy run period. And I'm not taking anything away from the defense. You still have to, go out and execute, something that the Broncos do extremely well. But you know when it's a pass-heavy series that you're going to be running in team sessions. You know those things. At least when you are playing someone else in a situation like this, even though the situations are set up in advance, you still don't know what's coming. You don't know how they're going to line up, where they're going to move people. So is it a big deal? It's a big deal in terms of you're doing the things necessary to be in the right place to make a play. Now, on the other side, they hit 2 in a row in the red zone for touchdowns late in the practice against that same defense. Is that a big deal? Yeah, probably. I mean, you're not doing something right in your protections. Interceptions will get the headlines, but are you stopping the other team from doing what they want to do on a consistent basis? You'll take that any day, more consistently.
I think there are a lot of reasons for interceptions in practice and in games. Sometimes the wide receiver runs the wrong route, and that turns into an interception. So we can put that one to the side. But in practice, when you're practicing against your own team, you are trying to see what your guy can do as a quarterback, your pass catcher, what he can do. Is he good at high pointing? Is he willing to stretch out for a pass? Yada, yada, yada. I can go down the list.
Right.
You're willing to take more chances to see what your guy can do eventually when you get into game situations. When you see basically the same color jersey in front of you as a quarterback on defense, you're willing to take those chances just to see what you have. But once the jersey color changes in front of you, you're not practicing to see if you can make a play.
Right.
You're going to be a little bit more dialed in. You're not going to take those same chances. And by then, you're hoping you know what your wide receivers, your pass catchers can do so you don't have to take those chances. That's why when Purdy got picked off twice, I think his mindset is, I can make this play. And as it turns out, he didn't. In practice, he's trying to see what his other guys can do.
Sure.
You're not going to do that against another team.
No.
And that's why Nix was really good yesterday. He was taking probably more chances last week, and it sounds like I'm making an excuse for him. I'm not. But he dialed it back a little bit. And I don't mean dialed it back in terms of being aggressive and trying to thread a window and things like that. But he's not going to, well, let's see how high Troy can jump today.
Right, yeah.
It's not going to be one of those.
Right. And then he made really good plays on the second act, right? He made a lot of good plays yesterday, which we are used to now. It's part of who Bo Nix is. It's part of the dynamic that he brings to the offense. When he is off schedule, he can make plays because he can throw at different arm angles, moving both to his left or his right. And he made a really good play by all accounts on about a 17-yard flick across the middle just as he was going out of bounds to Devon Vele. It was a play that people just kind of stopped and their jaws dropped. Even Kyle Shanahan, who in remarks afterwards was pretty effusive in his praise for Bo Nix. Guys like Kyle Shanahan don't have to be effusive about Bo Nix or anyone else. They've got their own issues to deal with, right?
Right.
So it was good, I think, for those of us that are around Sean every single day and hear the hear the confidence that he has in Bo Nix. It's hard to get more confident than saying he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the next 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. But now you get some confirmation from a guy that I think we feel is one of the best offensive minds in all of the NFL in Kyle Shanahan, saying, damn, they really have something with this guy. So that's reaffirming. And it's not like you need the reaffirmation, but it's always nice to hear it, even in an unsolicited fashion.
Coming up after the break, we're going to address the national narrative. Is Shedeur Sanders being set up to fail tonight? Because he hasn't really taken any snaps with the first team offense throughout all of training camp. And guess what he's doing tonight? Starting with the first team offense. That's next.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a new Sea-Doo, 4-wheeler, or the cash award from the Big Wheel Spin, plus $7,500 in cash. The grand prize drawing is the weekend of August 16th, and get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing, with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos. Loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Nola Jane in the heart of Lodo. No one does Cajun cuisine better than Nola Jane. Go see why their award-winning menu is the best in town.
At times, there are certain NFL players that have a chorus of apologists. Shedeur Sanders has his chorus of apologists. Before I ask you, which is now the national narrative, is Shedeur Sanders being set up to fail? The 4th-string quarterback on the roster, a 5th-round pick who has played with the 2nd and 3rd team guys almost exclusively throughout training camp. But tonight, I believe the starters will be playing, many of them, with the Cleveland Browns. Let's get that out of the way. So here's my question. If Sam Ehlinger started tonight with the Broncos' first-team offense, would anybody even consider thinking, forget about saying, would they even think Sam Ellinger is being set up to fail when he hasn't taken a snap with the first string offensive line in front of him? Would anybody say that? Or would they say, wow, what an opportunity for Sam Ellinger?
That is an unimaginable situation that Sam Ellinger would be starting even an exhibition game.
No. If he for the sake of argument, he started tonight because Bo is dealing with a small injury, and so is Jarrett Stidham, because that is the situation. Joe Flacco does not need to be starting tonight's game. The guy, I believe, backed up Otto Graham with the Browns back in 1949. He is not going to be playing tonight, nor should he be. But you have Pickett, who's dealing with an injury. You have Dylan Gabriel, who by all accounts has been simply dreadful in training camp. He's dealing with an injury. It is next man up. So Shedeur Sanders is starting, but his apologists, his minions are saying, guys being set up to fail because he hasn't played with the first string offense. So that's why I asked the question. If the situation was the same in Denver and Ellinger is starting with the first team offense tonight, would anybody even think to say Ellinger is being set up to fail? Or would they say, wow, what an opportunity?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I can't imagine. Well,
Bruce,
I can't imagine
that he's being set up to fail.
Who cares about Sam Ellinger? I mean, the fact that Shedeur Sanders is getting as much run as he is.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam Ellinger is an afterthought. With all due respect to him on this football team,
I understand that. That's not I'm not communicating. What I'm saying is, would anybody say he's being set up to fail if he started tonight?
No.
Fine. So why are they saying it about Shedeur Sanders? Because Ellinger hasn't played with the first team either. They would say, what an opportunity for him. But instead, the apologists are out there saying, well, guy's being set up to fail. The guy was a 5th-round pick for a reason, for a lot of different reasons. And he's probably going to play at least a half. What an unbelievable opportunity to stick it up everybody's ass that shouldn't have been a 5th-round pick. It's an opportunity. Is the glass half full or half empty? The apologists always want it to be half empty. It's kind of like when Jay Cutler played for the Bears. Well, the Bears' offensive line isn't very good, and that's why he's not playing well in Chicago. Or the Bears don't have the right set of wide receivers. So, once he does, he'll be better. Those people are apologists. Cutler had his. Now Shedeur Sanders has his. I hope that Sanders is fantastic. What I can tell you is there are going to be a lot of people outside of Cleveland watching this game with great interest because Shedeur Sanders is the new shiny object out of the entire draft class outside of his former teammate, Travis Hunter. Everybody wants to see what Shedeur Sanders is going to do. He's going to be, at the very least, the second most highly anticipated watch of the preseason, outside of Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I would say so, which is curious to me at this point. I mean, the name means a great deal, apparently, and it's Deion's kid. But this isn't a sink or swim moment for Shedeur Sanders by any stretch of the imagination. But it'll be interesting to watch him play. I mean, I'll tune in a little bit. I hope that he does well. I really hope that he does well. It was great to see LeJohntay Webster last night, to see you rookie return a punt for Baltimore. It was good to see Torrey Hunter, the wide receiver out of Colorado State, score for the Seahawks in their win against the Raiders. It'd be great to see Shedeur Sanders have some good moments tonight. And you know what, Eric? Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? I mean, go out there and play a little bit. He's not stupid. He's a smart kid. He knows football. He's got a high football IQ. I mean, he's worked hard for the last 2-3 weeks. There's no reason for him not to be able to go out and function on some level tonight. He doesn't have to turn the world upside down. He just has to be the best version of what he can be at this particular moment, understanding that this is his first foray into the professional game. I mean, I'm not expecting him to go out and throw for 300 yards, or even 150 and a half. But I want to see him be potentially dynamic. Make some good throws, make a play with his feet, do something like that, run the offense. Don't throw it to the other guy. Do some things that other quarterbacks are looked upon to do when they're playing early in the preseason.
The narrative is really easy to predict depending on how this game goes for Shedeur Sanders. If he plays poorly, well, that's why he was a 5th round pick. That's narrative number one. If he plays well, it is the sharpest of double-edged swords. The first edge is, wow, we got ourselves a quarterback here, at least through one game. He's showing us things that 5th-round quarterbacks don't show. He's played really, really well. That's a great thing. The problem is that when he got drafted, the circus rolled into town. If he plays well, now the circus is like the Death Star, and it is fully operational. You can ride all the rides. You can play all the games. You can get as many funnel cakes as you want and cotton candy and so on and so forth. Because what will happen is we will have the Tim Tebow circus all over again. Just now it's on the shores of Lake Erie. And the fans are going to be clamoring for this guy to start every single time Flacco throws a bad pass in a regular season game. Or if Flacco's not the guy, it's Pickett. Or if it's Dylan Gabriel. The chorus is going to get really, really loud that this guy should be playing. And I don't think any organization wants to have the fans not dictate to them what to do, but to hear it at your own home games that your own starter's getting booed and the name Sanders is ringing through the stadium.
It's a possibility, no question. We are a flavor of the moment kind of culture. And obviously when you have, and you use the description well, he is the shiny new object. There is no question about it. And for a lot more people beyond Cleveland, Ohio, there's people really paying attention to where Shedeur Sanders lands, where his place is, where his level of play is going to be. Can we see that in one quarter of an exhibition game in the month of August? Probably not, but it will, at the very least, start to create a narrative, right? I mean, a narrative is going to start one way or the other based on what we see tonight. It is an opportunity for Shedeur Sanders, who hasn't taken, by most reports, very many reps with the Browns so far. Obviously he's getting some reps this week. Yeah. He's getting some reps he's getting some first team reps now, right? But he hasn't had the types of first team reps that you would want to put a kid in and let him go. Part of me is wondering, do they just see enough confidence and bravado in the guy to have enough faith to put him in there and hope that they catch a flyer on this guy? Because he's not ready to quarterback NFL games. He's just not yet. He might be, and maybe he gets there quicker than we think. I hope he does. I really do. But I hope Shedeur Sanders just keeps everything in the proper perspective tonight and just goes out and plays. We know that he can play. Can he play at this level? Can he be that same kind of guy where good things can happen just because he's on the field? We'll see.
It's funny because Flacco's going to be the starter. At least he's been, in theory, named the starter for the Browns. So when you have the narrative, he's being set up to fail. Why not give Shedeur more snaps with the first team? Because he's going to be starting with the first team for tonight's game. That's what fans think. Teams think, I want my starting quarterback to take all the reps with the first team. Every single one. That's the long-term plan. If you're an apologist, you're going to argue, well, it shouldn't be that way. We should prop this guy up and let him get a whole bunch of reps. No, not your fourth-string quarterback. Sorry.
No.
Maybe Pickett does. Maybe Gabriel does with the first team, but not your fourth-string quarterback. Right now, he's the fourth-string quarterback. He has only one way to go, and that is up. This is an unbelievable opportunity for him. I hope he takes advantage of it. And if he does take advantage of it, we got the circus. It's going to be exactly like covering Tim Tebow again, because the heat on Kyle Orton was daily from the Tebow maniacs on get Timmy in there. And it's going to be the same thing with Shedeur. Right now, Shedeur Sanders is almost all sizzle and no steak. Let's see tonight if he brings the steak. And for all of us here in Denver, we hope he does. But get off the train. He's being set up to fail. He's not. Flacco's not going to play, and you're not going to start two injured guys ahead of Shedeur Sanders. It just happened to fall that way. I mean, I would say to all the apologists, would you be happier if Pickett and Gabriel could play, and then you see Shedeur in the fourth quarter with his own kind, the third stringers, or would you rather have him out there to start the game and probably play the opening half? Which way would you like it? Because you can't have both.
Quick question for you, because you would be uniquely qualified to answer this. Who goes into the start of his NFL career with more NFL-like qualities? Tim Tebow or Shedeur Sanders?
Oh, Shedeur Sanders by far. It's not even close.
I think so too, right? You're not even close.
Tim Tebow's footwork was off. No disrespect to him. He had a learning disability in order to learn an NFL playbook. When you're playing for the Florida Gators, there are three pieces of poster board. One has Yogi Bear. One has a pineapple. The other one is a Harley Davidson. Pick one of the cards, and that's your play. That's not the way it is in the NFL. Tim Tebow had a very difficult time, understanding an NFL offense. He was a running quarterback. Shedeur is not a running quarterback.
Right.
He wants to be a pocket quarterback.
No.
Tim Tebow was not. Tim Tebow was great for 2 to 3 minutes every game. Always at the end. They turned into miracle wins, and that's great. But once NFL defenses figured him out, he was finished. And you can see that happening at the end of his first real season playing football. Look at the last 3-4 games he played in the regular season. He was horrid, and the Broncos weren't winning. When he first started, he was still horrible, but he found a way to get wins. Shedeur Sanders is far more equipped than Tim Tebow. Sorry. What do you think? You watched Tim Tebow from afar? You watched him complete.
That would have been my answer. Absolutely.
You watched Tim Tebow what? You saw Tim Tebow when you covered the Chiefs complete 2 passes against the Chiefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was he 2 for 7?
It was almost a joke. And it was a joke. First of all, that they only threw like 7 or 8 passes, whatever it was, and that he only completed 2. And by the way, even the ones that he completed looked so ugly. And, hey, a completed pass isn't ugly, but you know what I mean. Some balls have zip, other balls kind of teeter. I never felt like I thought the pass to Demarius in the playoff game against Pittsburgh was probably the best ball that he threw as a pro. And he saved that one for a pretty good time, right? Yes. So I really hope Shedeur plays well tonight. I really do.
Let's put something into perspective.
Yeah.
Just because you hit a home run doesn't mean you're a home run hitter. You finished the season with one home run, the entire season, but that doesn't mean you're a home run hitter. There are a lot of variables to Tim Tebow's pass to Demaryius Thomas. One of them, Dick LeBeau playing one safety. The blueprint was out there, how to beat Tim Tebow. And Dick LeBeau said, I'm a Hall of Fame coach. I'm going to do it my way. I don't need to look at what everybody else does. I don't need to look at that blueprint and how to build the building. I'm going to build my own building. And it collapsed on Dick LeBeau. It was a great pass to Demaryius Thomas. But are we really going to judge a guy's career on one pass, despite it being a very meaningful pass in a very meaningful game? You don't judge a guy on one play. Because if you want to judge a guy on a play, I can show you about 100 bad ones compared to that one. Now, granted, it wasn't in the playoffs. I get it. So, Shedeur Sanders is far more equipped.
Yep.
Not even close. So, anyway, that is going to do it for us. Bruce, hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy the preseason game tomorrow as well as I will enjoy it, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Make it the best possible weekend you can.